The signal came from a planet that should have been empty. Static, then breathing, then a girl's voice, calm like she was ordering lunch. "Commander, this is Private Reeves. I can get them out." 15 hostiles, 12 hostages. 20 minutes before the Krillix executed everyone and blew the facility, the Deathworld girl was already moving. Velix Tornish had 3 eyes, 17 cycles of evaluating species, and a headache that started the moment he saw the priority marker on the file. The file had sat on his data pad for 3 days. 3 days of blinking urgency tags, 17 messages from Commander Holix. 17 messages he had deleted unread because he had better things to do than watch another human fumble through basic combat protocols. 4 humans had been accepted into the advanced tactical program at Centurus Academy in the past decade. 3 washed out within the first semester. The 4th sat in the back row of his classroom right now, asking questions that made her sound half asleep. "Professor Tornash," Maya Reeves had said just last week, her hand raised tentatively, "when you say tactical advantage, do you mean like having more weapons, or is it something else?" Kellen Ross from Typhon Prime had snickered. Several other students had joined him. Velix had sighed audibly. "Having more weapons is not a tactical advantage, Miss Reeves. We covered this in week 2. She had nodded slowly, written something down. "Right, so it's like being smarter about where you are." More snickers. He had moved on. Now, staring at the file he had finally opened, his middle eye began to twitch. The footage was from Outpost Zirian. Helmet cam, grainy, functional. Timestamp said 6 months ago, during the Krillix incursion when a raiding party had hit one of their forward research outposts. The Krillix were not part of the Galactic Council. They were pirates, scavengers, exceptionally good at hit-and-run tactics. This particular raid had been expected to be routine. A small security team would repel them, file a report, issue stern diplomatic warnings that everyone would ignore. Except the security team had been slaughtered in the first 3 minutes. What Velix was watching now was the aftermath. The voice on the recording belonged to Commander Holix. His breathing was ragged, panicked. "We have 15 hostiles, heavily armed, holding the research wing. They have 12 hostages, all civilian scientists. We are outgunned, outpositioned, and we have maybe 20 minutes before they execute everyone and blow the facility. I need options, and I need them now." A pause. Then a voice Velix recognized immediately. Calm, almost bored. "Commander, this is Private Reeves. I can get them out." Velix's dorsal ridge went rigid. Private Reeves, Maya Reeves, was military. "I wish I could tell you," he dismissed her and walked away. He didn't, and what happened next is the reason I haven't slept well since. The frame had frozen on her face. Not the face he knew from the back row, sleepy, confused, like she had just woken up from a nap she did not want to end. This face was different. Harder, the eyes that had asked him about tactical advantage like a child learning to read, were now tracking distances, angles, lines of fire, and exit strategies all at once. He had watched her move through the facility like liquid death, acquired a plasma rifle from somewhere, maybe a fallen guard, held it like she had been born with one in her hands. The first Krillix guard never saw her coming. She dropped him with a single shot to the weapon arm, then closed the distance and delivered a strike to his neck that rendered him unconscious before he hit the ground. 4 seconds. Non-lethal, precise, efficient. The second and third guards were together watching a corridor. She threw something, a small device. When they turned to look, she was already behind them, disarming one and using his own weapon to stun the other. Both down in under 4 seconds. She used the environment. A door became a weapon when she slammed it into a charging Krillix. A broken pipe became a projectile that disabled a sniper. She predicted movements, set traps, manipulated the enemy into positions where they were vulnerable. And she did it all while moving toward the hostages with unwavering determination. When she reached the research wing, there were 5 Krillix left, all of them holding weapons on the terrified scientists. This should have been impossible. There was no angle of approach, No way to engage without the hostages getting caught in crossfire. Maya Reeves walked straight through the door. Not burst in, not snuck in, she just walked, hands visible, weapons slung across her back. "Hey there," she said, and her voice had returned to that sleepy, confused tone he knew from class. "I think I am lost. This is not the bathroom, is it?" The Krillix leader, a scarred veteran named Kroth, who Velix would later learn had 23 successful raids to his name, stared at her. "You are military, I can smell it." "Me," she laughed, and it sounded genuine, confused. No, I am just a student. I got separated from my group during the whole scary shooting thing. Super terrifying, by the way. You guys are really good at the terrorism." She was rambling, babbling like an idiot. And while she did, her eyes were moving, calculating, measuring distances and angles with a precision that made his blood run cold. "You think I am stupid, human," Kroth growled. "You think I will just let you?" She moved. Velix had to watch it 3 times before he understood what happened. She grabbed a broken piece of ceiling panel that had been hanging by a wire, yanked it down to create a momentary shield, used that split second of distraction to pull a flashbang from her belt, threw it high so it would detonate above the hostages' heads. Then she was moving again, firing not at the Krillix, but at the structural supports of the shelving units behind them. The shelves collapsed. The flashbang went off. The Krillix were blinded, pinned, and disoriented. And Maya Reeves was suddenly among them, disarming them with brutal efficiency, using their own weapons against each other, turning their formation into a chaotic mess where they could not fire without hitting their own people. 22 seconds. That was how long it took her to neutralize 5 armed hostiles while protecting 12 civilians. When it was over, she helped the scientists to their feet, checked them for injuries, made a terrible joke about how she had definitely missed the bathroom. Then Commander Holix and his team finally breached the facility. She immediately became that slow, confused student again. "Oh good, you are here," she said, sounding relieved. "I just kind of hid when things got crazy. I think those soldier guys took care of the bad guys though. They went that way." Holix had stared at her for a long moment, then at the unconscious Krillix, then back at her. "Private Reeves," he had said slowly, "what exactly did you do before you enrolled at the academy?" "Oh, you know," she shrugged. "Stuff, boring human stuff, nothing interesting." The recording ended. Velix sat in his office, his 3 eyes unfocused, his mind trying to process what he had just witnessed. Then he did what any rational being would do. He accessed Maya Reeves's actual military file. Not her academy application, the real one. It took him 4 hours to get the clearance. When he finally saw it, he understood why Commander Holix had been so insistent. Maya Reeves was not a student. Well, she was, but that was not all she was. She was a decorated combat veteran from Earth's Special Operations Division. 17 confirmed solo extractions, 43 high-value target neutralizations, a commendation list that would make most career officers weep with envy. She had been part of the Seoul Defense Force during the Titan Rebellions, the Martian blockade, the Europa incident. She had skills and training that most species would consider physically impossible. And she was in his class, pretending to be a mediocre student, asking stupid questions about tactical advantage. Why? He found the answer in a note attached to her file, written by a human admiral named Kester. "Maya is one of our best, but she has been operational for 8 years straight. She needs a break, but she will not take one unless we make her. Enrolling her in the academy as a regular student was the compromise. She thinks she is there to rest and maybe learn something new. Do not tell her that we know she is incapable of being bad at anything. Let her have this. She earned it." Velix closed the file. Tomorrow, Maya Reeves would shuffle into his classroom, sit in the back row, probably ask another question that made her sound like she had never held a weapon in her life. And he would have to pretend he did not know that she could kill everyone in the room before they finished taking attendance. Humans, he was learning, were terrifyingly good at hiding their strengths. The question was, why did they feel the need to? He spent the rest of the evening reviewing the tactical maneuvers from the Xerian recording. Every move had been perfect, not just competent, optimal. As if she had run simulations of every possible outcome and chosen the path with the highest success probability. But that level of combat awareness should not be possible. Not for a species that had only joined the galactic community 30 years ago. Not for a species that still used projectile weapons alongside energy rifles because they liked the way bullets felt more reliable. Humans were supposed to be the newcomers, the ones still figuring out how space travel worked. This was not a newcomer. This was an apex predator wearing a student uniform. And she had been sitting in his class for 4 months, letting him condescend to her, letting her classmates mock her, never once revealing what she was actually capable of. He pulled up the roster for his advanced tactical theory class. 28 students from 14 different species. Maya Reeves was ranked 23rd in overall performance. 23rd. He looked at the top-ranked student, Kellen Ross, the Typhon prodigy who never missed an answer and completed every simulation with textbook precision. Kellen was good, truly good, possibly the best tactical mind Velix had taught in a decade. Against Maya Reeves in actual combat, he would last maybe 15 seconds, if she was feeling generous. His communicator chimed. A message from Commander Holix. Did you watch it? He sent back a simple affirmative. Good, now you understand why I need you to do something for me. There is going to be a joint training exercise in 2 weeks, multi-species teams, live ammunition scenarios. Command staff observing for recruitment purposes. I need you to put Reeves on a team and push them into a crisis situation. I need to see what she does when she cannot hide anymore. He typed back, why? Because we need to know if she can lead, not just fight. If she can, we have bigger plans for her. If she cannot, then she gets her peaceful academy experience and we leave her alone. But I need to know. He stared at the message for a long time. This seems manipulative. It is, but she is too good to waste and too stubborn to admit she is bored. Sometimes you have to force people to accept their own potential. You in. He thought about Maya Reeves sitting in the back of his class, hiding in plain sight, carrying the weight of skills and experiences that would crush most beings. Also, she could have something resembling a normal life. Then he thought about the 12 scientists she had saved, the way she had done it with such casual brilliance that it seemed effortless. Item in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, Maya Reeves was going to face a situation where being mediocre would not be enough. And Velix Tornish was going to find out what a human looked like when they stopped pretending to be weak. The training exercise was scheduled for dawn. On this planet, that meant the Triple Suns would cast shadows in 3 different directions and make depth perception a nightmare. Perfect conditions for chaos, which was exactly what Commander Holix wanted. He built the team with care. Not the kind of care that wins awards. The kind of care that sets someone up to fail so you can watch how they handle it. Velix selected 3 students for Maya's squad, each one a deliberate problem. Jenko Faz was a Borvian, 7 feet of muscle and stubbornness, strong enough to punch through bulkheads, tactical flexibility of a brick. He would charge first and ask questions while bleeding. Pipnarella was Vexen, tiny, brilliant with tech, but the moment things went wrong, she froze. Literally, her species locked their joints when frightened, a self-solving problem for anyone shooting at her. Elrak Nost was Mandari, excellent senses, loyal to a fault, the fault being that she followed orders without questioning them, even bad orders, especially bad orders. Maya's job was to make these 3 work. Velix had given her the weakest squad possible. Kellen Ross, by contrast, got the 3 best remaining students, all of them coordinated, all of them skilled, all of them trained to execute his commands with precision. If this were a fair fight, Red Team would win in under 20 minutes. Velix was not planning for this to be a fair fight. The morning of the exercise, the Triple Suns rose over Tel Varax like 3 angry eyes. Shadows stretched in 3 directions. Depth perception became a guess. The observation tower's filtered windows dimmed automatically, and the instructors filed in one by one, cups of stimulant in their hands, betting pools already forming. Commander Holix stood beside Velix, arms crossed. You gave her the disaster squad. I gave her the squad she would have chosen for herself. By making it impossible. By making it honest. Below, the students assembled on the training ground, 28 of them, 7 squads of 4, each squad a mix of species and skill sets. The scenario was simple on paper. Retrieve a data core from a fortified position, extract it to a safe zone, do it all while opposing teams tried to stop you. Live rounds, real stakes, medical teams on standby. The fortified position sat at the center of a maze of shipping containers, wrecked vehicles, and broken structures. 3 teams would defend it in overlapping shifts. 3 teams would attack from different angles. Blue team, Maya's team, would have to navigate both. Velix watched her. Maya stood with her squad near the edge of the deployment zone. She was studying the map on her data pad, tilting her head like she could not quite figure out which direction was north. Jenko kept glancing at her with barely concealed annoyance. So, what is the plan? Maya asked, her voice carrying that familiar uncertain lilt. Jenko snorted. The plan is I go in first, break things, and you 3 try to keep up. Stay behind me and do not get in my way. Oh, okay, Maya nodded. That sounds good. You seem really strong and stuff. Elrak rolled her eyes. Pip just looked nervous. The horns sounded. The exercise began. Red team moved out immediately, Kellen directing them with precise hand signals. They formed a standard advancing formation, covering angles, moving with textbook efficiency. Beautiful to watch. Blue team stumbled. Jenko charged ahead without waiting for coordination. Elrak tried to scout, but kept having to double back because no one was following her directions. Pip froze at the first sound of gunfire, even though it was 300 meters away. Maya just sort of wandered along behind them, looking lost. It was painful to watch. Holix leaned closer to Velix. This was your plan, put her with incompetence and hope she magically fixes them. Patience, Velix said, though he was starting to doubt himself. 15 minutes in, Blue team had made almost no progress. They had gotten pinned down by Yellow team's suppression fire, wasted ammunition. Now they were trapped behind a broken wall, with no clear exit strategy. Jenko was yelling at everyone. Pip was on the verge of tears. Elrak kept suggesting retreat. Maya sat with her back against the wall, fiddling with her rifle, looking completely checked out. Reeves, Jenko bellowed. Are you even paying attention? We are getting destroyed here. Maya looked up. Oh yeah, totally. This is really intense. You are doing great though. Super great leading and everything. We are not doing great. We are losing. Oh, she blinked. Are we? That is too bad. Holix's face turned an interesting shade of purple. She is not engaging. This is not working. Velix said nothing, because he had noticed something. While Maya appeared to be zoned out, her eyes kept tracking movements. Not the obvious ones, the enemy positions, the gunfire, small details, the way the light reflected off certain surfaces, the rhythm of enemy fire patterns, the gaps in their coverage. She was not checked out. She was mapping everything. Guys, Maya said suddenly, her voice still casual, I think maybe we should try something different, like this whole hiding thing is not really working right. Obviously, Jenko snapped, but unless you have a brilliant plan, we are stuck. Well, I do not know about brilliant, she scratched her head, but I noticed that Yellow team reloads every 47 seconds in a staggered pattern, which means there is a 2.3-second window where the left flank has reduced fire coverage. Everyone stared at her. Also, there is a drainage pipe about 15 meters to our right that connects to their position. Pip could probably fit through it. Pip's eyes went wide. And that abandoned vehicle at our 10 o'clock has reflective panels. We could use them to create false movement if we angled them correctly. Silence. Also, Maya continued in that same dreamy tone. Red team is about to flank Yellow team from the north in approximately 90 seconds. That will distract them and give us an opening to advance. So if we time it right, we could use the confusion to slip past both teams and get to the data core while they are fighting each other. Longer silence. How do you know red team's position? Elrak asked slowly. Oh, I have been listening to their radio chatter. They are not using encryption, which seems like a mistake, but that is their problem. Maya smiled helpfully. So, should we try my thing, or do you want to keep doing the hiding plan? I am fine with either. Jenko's mouth opened and closed several times. You have been tracking enemy reload patterns, found an infiltration route, predicted enemy movements, and hacked their communications, all while sitting there looking like you were barely awake. I mean, I was not really hacking, they just were not secured, so I was just listening, which is different. She paused. Right, that is different. Reeves, Pip said quietly, what exactly are you? Tired mostly, Maya yawned, and maybe a little hungry. Do we have snacks after this? Or is that later? Up in the observation tower, Velik saw Holix lean forward, suddenly very interested. Jenko shook his head like he was trying to clear water from his ears. Fine, we do it your way. What do you need from us? Oh, I do not need anything, really. Maya stood up, brushing dust off her uniform. You guys just stay here and look pinned down. I will go get the data core and bring it back. Should take maybe 10 minutes. 15 if I get distracted. By yourself, Elrak's voice pitched up in disbelief. There are 3 teams between us and the objective. Yeah, but they are all focused on fighting each other. They will not really notice me. She checked her rifle, made sure her gear was secure. Unless you want to come. I can wait if you want to come. This is insane, Jenko muttered. But he did not stop her. Maya Reeves walked out from behind the cover like she was heading to the cafeteria. What happened next would later be taught in tactical courses across the galaxy as a master class in solo infiltration. She did not run. She did not hide. She just walked. But she walked in the spaces between attention. When yellow team looked left, she moved right. When red team advanced, she used their movement to mask her own. She read the battlefield like it was a children's book, simple and obvious to her, impossible for anyone else to comprehend. She reached the drainage pipe and slipped through it just as she had predicted, emerged directly behind yellow team's position. But instead of engaging them, she waited, counting silently. Red team's attack came exactly when she said it would. The moment yellow team turned to face the new threat, she was past them, moving toward the fortified position holding the data core. The fortification was guarded by green team, 4 highly trained students with overlapping fields of fire, impenetrable according to standard tactics. Maya pulled out her data pad and started typing. 30 seconds later, the fortification's lights began flickering. Then the automated defense turrets started spinning randomly. Then the doors locked, trapping green team inside their own position. Did she just hack the entire facility? One of the instructors beside Velix whispered. I thought she was a combat specialist, another replied. Maya walked up to the fortification, knocked on the door politely, waved at the camera. Through the open comm channel, they could hear her speaking. Hey there, green team. Super sorry about this, but I kind of need the data core. And you are all locked in, which is really unfortunate. If you could maybe just slide it under the door, that would be amazing. A pause. No, okay, that is fair. That is totally fair. She pulled something from her belt, a small device, and attached it to the door panel. So this is an override key that will unlock the door in about 5 minutes, which should give me enough time to be far away. You guys did great, though. Really excellent defensive positioning. Gold star effort for sure. The device beeped. The door's secondary lock disengaged. Maya opened it just wide enough to grab the data core from its pedestal, which somehow she had determined the exact location of, then closed it again and started jogging back the way she came. She made it 20 meters before red team spotted her. Contact, single target with the objective. Kellen's voice was sharp, professional, all units converge. Red team was good. They moved to intercept with precision, cutting off her escape routes, forcing her into a kill box where she would have no choice but to surrender or be eliminated. Maya stopped running. She stood in the open, holding the data core, and sighed. "Okay," she said. Her voice had changed. No more confusion, no more uncertainty, just calm, cold assessment. "I really did not want to do this." She threw the data core straight up, high into the air, a perfect arc that would bring it down in exactly 8 seconds. Then she moved. Kellen fired. Missed. Maya was not where she had been. His teammate fired. Also missed. Maya had used a supply crate as a springboard, vaulted over their position entirely. The third teammate tried to track her movement, could not. She was too fast, too unpredictable, flowing between obstacles like water. The fourth teammate, the smartest one, aimed where she was going to be. Maya changed direction midair. Something that should have been physically impossible. She twisted her body in a way that defied inertia. The shot passed through empty space. She landed, rolled, came up right under the falling data core, caught it without looking, was sprinting again before Red Team could reposition. "How is she doing that?" Kellen's voice cracked with frustration. "She is human. They are supposed to be slow." But Maya was not slow. She was a nightmare wrapped in a student uniform. Watching her move was like watching physics decide to take a coffee break. She could have extracted then. The safe zone was clear. Blue Team's designated exit was open. She would have one. Instead, she stopped. "Hey Kellen," she called out, still in that casual tone. "You are really good at this, you know, like textbook perfect tactics. Your instructors must be super proud." Kellen was reloading, trying to get a bead on her position. "What are you doing, Reeves?" "Just thinking about something my old commander told me." She stepped into view, completely exposed. "He said that perfect tactics lose to adaptive strategy every single time. Want to know why?" "I really, really do not care right now." "Because perfect tactics assume the enemy will follow the rules." She smiled. It was not a nice smile. "But the thing about humans, Kellen, is that we are really, really bad at following rules." She threw the data core again. Not toward the safe zone. At Red Team, directly at Kellen. His instincts took over. He caught it. And in that split second, where his hands were occupied, where his team was looking at him instead of their sectors, Maya moved through them like a ghost. Disarmed two. Stunned a third with a strike to a nerve cluster. Left Kellen standing there holding the data core with a stunned expression. "Thanks for holding that." Maya plucked it from his hands. "You are a real team player." Then she was gone, sprinting for the safe zone, while Red Team tried to figure out what had just happened. Blue Team's extraction point was now contested. Yellow Team had recovered and moved to block it. Maya did not slow down. She went straight through them. Not around, not over, through. Using their own positions against them. Turning their defensive formation into an obstacle course that she navigated with absurd ease. She was in and out before they could coordinate a response. When she crossed into the safe zone, the horn sounded. "Exercise complete. Blue Team wins." Maya sat down, set the data core beside her, stretched, looked genuinely surprised. "Oh, we won. That is awesome. Great job, team." Jenko, Elrak, and Pip were still back at their original position, having not moved an inch. In the observation tower, every instructor was silent. Commander Holix turned to Velix. 23rd in class ranking. "Yes, 23rd, I am aware of the irony. She just defeated 4 teams by herself, hacked military-grade security, moved in ways that should require cybernetic enhancement." He paused. "And she is ranked 23rd. She is very committed to the disguise." Down below, Maya was chatting with her confused teammates, apologizing for not including them more in the plan, asking if anyone wanted to get food, because she was absolutely starving after all that light jogging. Kellen approached her. His expression was complicated. "Reeves, who are you really?" "Oh, you know," she shrugged, back to her usual vague tone. "Just a student trying to learn stuff. You are really good, though. Seriously, that intercept formation was super smart. You demolished us." Did I? I thought we were all just playing a fun exercise game thing, she smiled. Besides, you would have totally won if I had not gotten lucky with that drainage pipe. That was pure luck, finding that. You calculated its location based on facility schematics that you memorized during the briefing. Did I? She looked genuinely confused. Huh, I do not remember that. Maybe I have a good memory for pipes. Is that weird? That might be weird. Elrak walked up, her sensory tendrils quivering. Maya, please stop lying. We all just watched you become someone completely different. What are you? For just a moment, Maya's expression shifted. The confusion dropped away. Underneath it was someone older, harder, infinitely more tired than any student should be. I am someone who really wants to just be a regular student for a while, she said quietly. Can you guys maybe let me have that? The three of them looked at each other, then back at her. Your secret is safe with us, Jenko said finally, but you are buying lunch for the rest of the semester. Deal? The confused smile was back. Do they have those weird noodle things in the cafeteria today? I love those noodle things. As they walked away together, Holix turned to Velix. So, can she lead? Velix thought about what he had just witnessed. Maya Reeves had not just won the exercise, she had rewritten the parameters of what winning meant. She had adapted, improvised, overcome impossible odds while making it look accidental. But more than that, she had given her team exactly what they needed. Not orders, confidence. They had watched her succeed, and now they believed they could too. She can lead, Velix said. She just chooses not to most of the time. Why? Because leading means being visible, and being visible means she cannot hide anymore. He watched Maya disappear into the facility, laughing at something Pip said. She is a weapon that wants to be a person, Commander. Can we really blame her for that? Holix was quiet for a long time. No, he said finally, I suppose we cannot. That evening, Velix found a note on his desk. Handwritten. In an age of digital everything, she had chosen paper. The fibrous kind that smudged when you touched it, folded into thirds, no envelope. He unfolded it and read. Professor Tornash, thanks for a really fun exercise today. I learned a lot about teamwork and stuff. Also, I know you know what I am, and I am guessing Commander Holix does too. I am not mad or anything. You guys were pretty subtle about it. But if it is okay, I would really like to just finish the semester as a regular student. I will try harder in class, ask fewer dumb questions, maybe move up to 20th in the rankings instead of 23rd. But please, do not make me be special again. I have been special for a long time, and honestly, it is exhausting. Let me be mediocre for a while. I promise that if the galaxy actually needs me, I will stop pretending. But until then, can I just be Maya, the kind of slow human in the back row? Thanks. P.S. Your lecture on flanking maneuvers last week was actually really interesting, even though I already knew all of it. You are a good teacher. Velix read it 3 times. Then he filed it away in his personal archive. The next day, Maya Reeves shuffled into class late. She apologized profusely, asked a question about supply line logistics that made her sound like she had never heard of mathematics. But now, when Velix looked at her, he saw what she really was. Not a mediocre student hiding her competence. A warrior stealing moments of peace in a universe that had demanded too much from her for too long. And if that meant letting her rank 23rd in his class, while she was actually the most dangerous being in the room. Well, that seemed like a fair trade. The next morning, Velix found himself reading the note again. He had filed it, archived it, told himself the matter was closed. But his hand kept reaching for the drawer. Let me be mediocre for a while. She had asked for something simple, something every being in the galaxy wanted, but few ever named out loud. The right to be ordinary. He put the note back in the drawer, locked it, walked to class. Maya was already there. Back row, same seat, same sleepy expression. She had her data pad open to something that looked like notes, but was probably a grocery list. He began his lecture on asymmetrical engagement strategies. Halfway through, her hand went up. Professor Tornash, when you say asymmetrical, do you mean like when one side has way more ships? Or is it more about, the other side not knowing what the first side is doing? Kellen snickered. Velix caught himself before he sighed. Miss Reeves, asymmetrical refers to a fundamental mismatch in capabilities, forcing the weaker party to employ unconventional methods. We covered this in week 4. Oh, right, so it's like being sneaky because you have to be. Yes, that is a reductive but accurate summary. She nodded, wrote something down, smiled at her data pad. He had no idea if she was genuinely asking or if every question was a test. Some part of him suspected the latter. The rest of him was too tired to care. 3 days passed. Then a week. The training exercise faded into academy legend. Students who had not been there heard versions of it from students who had. The story grew teeth. By the time it reached the junior cohort, Maya Reeves had supposedly defeated 8 teams simultaneously while blindfolded and reciting poetry. She did not correct anyone. When asked about it, she shrugged and said, "I got lucky with a pipe." No one believed her, no one pushed. Something about the way she said it, flat, final, tired, made people stop asking. Kellen avoided her for 3 days after the exercise. When he finally sat next to her in the cafeteria, he did not speak, just ate his food, stared at his tray. Maya let him sit in silence. After 10 minutes, he said, "I trained for 6 years to be the best. Okay. I have never lost like that. Okay. I do not know what to do with that." She put down her fork, looked at him, not the sleepy look. "The real one. Then do nothing with it," she said. "Keep training, keep being the best. Pretend yesterday did not happen. That is what I do." "That is what you do." "Yes," she picked her fork back up, "and it works great. Highly recommend." Kellen stared at her for a long moment. Then he laughed, not a mean laugh, a confused one. "You are very strange, Reeves." "I know." Commander Hollix did not let the matter drop. His messages to Velix became more frequent, more insistent. "Have you talked to her again? Did she mention anything about her past? What about the note? Did she say anything about the note?" Velix replied to each one the same way. "She wants to be left alone. She earned that. Drop it." Hollix did not drop it. "There is an incident developing on the border. Krillik's activity. More than usual, Command wants to send an observer, someone who has dealt with them before. Someone who can move like she moves. I am submitting her name." Velix stared at the message for a long time. His middle eye twitched. "You cannot do that. She is a student. She is a soldier who enrolled as a student to escape. But the galaxy does not care about escape plans. You are going to ruin her. I am going to give her a choice. There is a difference." The messages stopped after that. Velix did not know if that was a good sign or a bad one. Mid-collapse RE hook, 70% mark, Chars. His office door opened without a knock. Maya Reeves stood in the frame, not the back row student, the woman from the recording, eyes hard, posture balanced, hands empty but ready. "Professor, can I come in?" He gestured to the chair across from his desk. She did not sit. "Commander Hollix submitted my name for a border observation mission." "I know." "He says you knew." "I knew." She studied him for a moment, the way she had studied the enemy reload patterns, calculating. "Did you agree with him?" "No." That seemed to surprise her. Her posture shifted, not relaxing, recalibrating. "Then why did not you stop him?" "Because I do not have that authority, and because he is not wrong about your capability." "My capability is not the question." "No, the question is whether you want to use it." She was quiet for a long time. 10 seconds, 20, 30. Velix counted them. "I was 17 when they recruited me," she said finally. Her voice was different, not sleepy, not hard. Something else, something that sounded like glass just before it breaks. "I was good at things, really good, they noticed. They trained me, and for 8 years I did what they asked, went where they sent me, killed who they pointed at." She looked down at her hands. I have saved people, lots of people. The number is in a file somewhere, probably framed on a wall, but I have also. She stopped. There are things I have done that no medal fixes. No amount of thank you for your service patches over. Velix said nothing. I thought if I came here, if I sat in the back row and asked stupid questions, I could become someone else. Someone who had never held a rifle. Someone who worried about exams and cafeteria food and what to do on the weekend. She looked up at him. But I am still her. Underneath all of it, I am still the person who can clear a room in 22 seconds, and no amount of mediocre test scores changes that. The note you left me, Velix said. You said you wanted to be mediocre for a while. Yes. How long is a while? She did not answer. Commander Holix is not going to stop, Velix said. Neither is Command. They have seen what you can do. They will keep asking, keep pushing, keep finding reasons to put you back in the field. I know. So what are you going to do? She sat down. The chair creaked under her weight, not because she was heavy, because the chair was old and she was tired and something in the room had shifted. I am going to finish the semester, she said. I am going to rank 23rd. I am going to ask questions that make Kellen Ross snicker. And then I am going to pack my things and leave. Leave the academy. Leave everything. Velix's dorsal ridge went rigid. What does that mean? It means there are places in the galaxy where no one knows what a human looks like, where no one has heard of the Titan rebellions or the Martian blockade, where I can be no one. That sounds like running. It is, she did not flinch. I am very good at that too. He wanted to argue with her, to tell her that running was not the answer, that she had skills the galaxy needed, that she owed something to the people she could save. But he had seen her file. 17 extractions, 43 neutralizations, 8 years of operational service. He had no right to ask her for more. I will not tell Commander Holix about this conversation. Thank you. I will not tell anyone. I know. How do you know? She stood up, her posture settled back into something looser, the hard edges softening. Because you read my note 3 times before you filed it, and you did not tell anyone about that either. She walked to the door, paused with her hand on the frame. Professor, thank you for the exercise, for not making me feel like a specimen, for treating me like a student even when you knew I was not. You are a student, Miss Reeves. You asked a question about tactical advantage in week 2. It was not a stupid question. It was the most honest question anyone has asked in this classroom in 17 cycles. She smiled, the real one, not the sleepy mask. Being smarter about where you are, she said. Yes, that is what you taught me. You already knew it. Yes, she stepped through the door, but you are the first person who made me feel like it was enough. She was gone. Velix sat in his office for a long time after she left. The room felt different, emptier, as if something had been present that he had not noticed until it was gone. He opened the drawer, took out the note, read it again. Let me be mediocre for a while. He had thought she meant the semester, maybe the year, a break, a pause. But she meant forever. She meant walking away from everything she had been trained to do, every skill she had honed, every life she had saved, and every life she had taken. She meant becoming no one. He put the note back in the drawer, locked it. Then he opened his communicator and typed a message to Commander Holix. Do not submit her name. She is not going to accept, and I am not going to help you force her. Holix's reply came 3 minutes later. What did she tell you? Nothing you need to know. I am her commanding officer. I have a right. You have a right to nothing. She is a student. She asked for peace. Give it to her. The reply took longer this time, 5 minutes, then 10. Fine. But when the Krillix hit again, and they will, do not come crying to me. I will not. Velix closed the communicator. He wondered if he had just made a mistake. He wondered if he had just done the only right thing. He was not sure there was a difference anymore. The next morning, Maya Reeves shuffled into class late. She apologized profusely, dropped her data pad, spent 30 seconds picking it up while Kellen waited with exaggerated patience. Sorry, I am awake now, definitely awake. She sat down, opened her notes, raised her hand. Professor Tornash, quick question. When you talked about engagement distances yesterday, and I know you said it was important, but does the number change if the enemy is, like, really fast, or is the math the same? Kellen opened his mouth to snicker. Velix caught his eye. Kellen closed his mouth. That is an excellent question, Miss Reeves. The standard engagement distances assume an average mobility profile. Against a species with enhanced speed, such as the Krillix, you would need to adjust by approximately 40%. Oh, she blinked. So like, stay farther back. Stay farther back and aim where they are going to be, not where they are. She nodded, wrote something down. Cool, thanks. She smiled at her data pad. And Velix Tornish, third adjudicator of the Galactic Academic Council, 17 cycles of evaluating species, 3 eyes and 1 aching heart, continued his lecture. He did not look at the back row, but he felt her there. A weapon pretending to be a person. A warrior stealing peace. A student who had asked the most honest question he had ever heard. When you say tactical advantage, do you mean like having more weapons, or is it something else? It was something else. It had always been something else. And she had known it all along. The semester ended like all things end, quietly. Without ceremony. Velix submitted his final grades. Maya Reeves ranked 23rd. Kellen Ross ranked 1st. The universe continued spinning. Commander Holix did not contact him again. The Krillix border incident resolved without Maya's involvement. Someone else went. Someone else came back. Velix did not ask for details. Some questions were better left unasked. The academy emptied. Students returned to their home worlds. The obsidian spires of Centurus stood silent under the light of Telvarax's twin moons. Velix should have gone home. He had grading to finish, lectures to prepare for next cycle, 1,000 small tasks that filled the space where thought should go. Instead, he sat in his office and stared at the locked drawer. 3 weeks passed. Then a message arrived. No sender ID. No priority marker. Just a file attachment and a single line of text. You should see this. He opened it. The footage was from a trading post on the edge of Krillix space. Grainy, unstable, recorded on a civilian data slate. A raid was in progress, not a military target, a civilian habitat, families, merchants, people who had never held a rifle. The Krillix moved through the market with casual efficiency, taking what they wanted, leaving bodies behind. And then, a figure stepped out of the smoke. Not running, not hiding, just walking. The way she had walked through Outpost Zirion, the way she had walked through the training exercise, the spaces between attention. Maya Reeves. She was not wearing a uniform, not carrying military-issue weapons. Just civilian clothes, and a rifle she had probably taken off a dead Krillix. She moved through them the way water moves through cracks in stone, inevitable, unstoppable, quiet. The first Krillix fell before he knew she was there. The second turned and fired at empty air. The third tried to run. She was faster. When it was over, when the smoke cleared and the bodies stopped moving, she stood alone in the center of the market, breathing hard, rifle low. A child ran to her, small, scared, unhurt. Maya knelt down, said something Velix could not hear. The child nodded, wiped its face. Then Maya stood up, looked directly at the camera, not surprised, not angry. Just tired. She walked away. The child followed her. The recording ended. Velix closed the file. His hands were shaking. Not from fear, from something he could not name. Let me be mediocre for a while. She had not asked for forever. She had asked for time, a break, a pause. And when the galaxy needed her, when children were dying and no one else was there, she had stopped pretending. He opened the drawer, took out the note, read it one last time. I promise that if the galaxy actually needs me, I will stop pretending. She had kept her promise. He had done nothing to deserve it. Hook 29, pre-climax mundane beat, Chars/84%. He poured himself a cup of water from the carafe on his desk, did not drink it, just held it, watched the surface tremble. Then he set the cup down, opened his communicator, typed a message to the only address that mattered. I saw the footage. She saved them. You were right. The reply came faster than he expected. I am always right. That is not the same thing as being good. No, it is not. Hook 30, Climax Triad, Chars/88%. He stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the empty academy. The moons cast long shadows across the obsidian spires. Somewhere out there, beyond the edge of civilized space, Maya Reeves was walking through smoke and blood and the wreckage of someone else's war. She had not wanted this. She had asked for peace, for mediocrity, for the right to be ordinary. And the galaxy had refused her. Because the galaxy did not care what she wanted. It only cared what she could do. He sat back down, pulled up her file, the real one, the one he should not have access to. 17 extractions, 43 neutralizations, 8 years of service. He added one more line to the list. One trading post, one child, one woman who stopped pretending. Then he closed the file, deleted his access credentials, locked the drawer one final time. He would not watch again. He would not ask for updates. He would not be the person who turned her into a number on a screen. She had saved 12 scientists at Outpost Zirion, 12 hostages who would have died without her. She had saved a child at a trading post, one child who would have died without her. Those were not numbers. Those were people. And Maya Reeves had never once asked for credit. Hook 32, Echo Object Transformation, ~38, 000 Chars/95%. The next morning, Velix found an envelope under his office door. Not a note, not a request, not a goodbye. Just a photograph. Paper, physical. The kind people printed when they wanted to remember something real. The image showed a child, the same child from the trading post footage. She was smiling, holding a drawing. The drawing showed a figure in the center of a market, stick figures running in all directions, one figure standing still. Above the drawing, the child had written 3 words in shaky block letters. She saved US. No signature, no return address, just the photograph and the drawing. Velix stared at it for a long time. Then he pinned it to the wall above his desk, right next to the framed certificate that declared him 3rd adjudicator of the Galactic Academic Council. The certificate was official, impressive, certified by 17 authorities. The drawing was crooked, drawn in crayon on cheap paper, imperfect. It mattered more. Hook 33, final image, last 1%/39, 600 Chars. The new cycle began. New students filed into the classroom, new faces, new species, new questions. Velix stood at the podium, waited for the room to settle. His eyes drifted to the back row. Empty. He looked at the wall, at the crooked drawing, at the 3 words written in a child's hand. She saved US. He turned back to the class. Welcome to Advanced Tactical Theory. My name is Professor Tornash. We will begin with a question. He paused. A student in the front row raised a tentative hand. Professor, what is the most important thing we will learn this semester? Velix thought about Maya Reeves, about her sleepy questions, about the note in his drawer, about the photograph on his wall. Being smarter about where you are. He smiled. That, he said, is the first question you will learn to answer for yourselves. The student blinked, lowered her hand. Velix opened his lecture notes. And somewhere out there, beyond the edge of civilized space, a woman who had once ranked 23rd continued walking. Not running, not hiding, just walking. Because she had made a promise. And she had kept it.